Well, that's a fun win. I mean, I thought a lot of, obviously we shot the ball really well from the 3-line, and those fans love those games, and so do players and coaches. Coaches like them, but then they always want some other things, and they always know that those things, shooting the ball really well, masks some other things. But I thought, for being off for a week, I thought we were pretty sharp, and that's exciting, and because I think this time of year when you have a team that's got a lot of practices between game and a game, sometimes it's easy to lose focus, I think, especially a team that had played really well. And so that was a concern, was, okay, are we gonna approach this week the right way? And I felt like we did that. And when you approach, your approach affects your performance. And I think we performed well today because we had the right approach all week in practice. So and Lauren missed 2 practices this week, so that's a big part of why she shot the ball well, is she had better legs than normal. So we'll probably think about resting her a little bit more in practice.
Lauren, were you thinking if I shot it well that I might get out of more practices?
No, I don't like sitting out of practices.
At what point today were you, I guess, when the first one goes in, when the second one goes in, when did it start to feel like you couldn't mess up?
I don't know. I really honestly wasn't thinking very much when I shot it.
What'd you find it was me? What? Oh.
Not like,
Yeah, seriously.
I guess when you guys got that early lead, they started, turning up the pressure a little bit, and they caused a few turnovers over, I think, 3 over 4 possessions. And then you guys started breaking it a little easier and finding Lauren in the corner. I guess when she's hitting like that, how much easier is it to break or to execute out of a full court press?
Well, when we come out of full court press, we usually have numbers, and so it's easy because they'll try and drop back and take middle and maybe a post that's on the block, so it's usually the corner person that's always open, or maybe a kickback if we drive. So, I mean, after we got through the press and kind of came back from turning over the ball a few times, it went better.
I guess from a player standpoint, any concern about, obviously you kind of in a routine where you play Friday, Sunday, to only have one game this week, does it create any concern going into this one?
Kind of, because we had 2 off days, Monday and Thursday, and I mean those weeks can get kind of long because you don't have. I mean, we didn't have any game or any kind of thing. I mean, Glenn talked about it. We stayed focused, and that's kind of thing where in the beginning of the season we might not have stayed as focused as we should have, but I think this week we did a good job.
How much different is practice now with you guys? Is there more pressure added onto you knowing that you have a win streak and that it's kind of important to keep playing this well at the end of the season compared to what it was like during the tough January? Players
keep bringing that up, man.
Yeah. Do you want to know?
No.
Okay. Well, they talked about it earlier before the game, how we have kind of more of a target on our back now because we've finally been winning games and we have a winning streak now. And I think practices, we are more determined and we're more focused during practices for the most part, whereas the first part of the season we were trying to figure ourselves out and try to find our niche kind of thing, what's going to make us play good, and we couldn't really get motivated. Glenn would have to talk to us, yell at us to get us motivated. Now I think it's more of the self-motivation of each other.
Lauren?
Well, there's a lot more energy now that we're winning, I feel like. And so that's definitely positive. And yeah.
What about the institution of chest bumps?
Oh! Okay, yeah, it's got to be the chest bumps. At the beginning of the game and after the game, we always chest bump. And since we've been winning, we started at the Marquette game. And since then, we've been doing 2 chest bumps, one before and one after. So I attribute our winning to the chest bumps. Just the chest bumps. No, I'm just kidding. But.
Anything else?
What?
All right, good job, Liam.
Thank you.
Good job, guys.
So many
You obviously have a group of smart girls. They know a little bit about the opponent that you were playing today. How much of a concern is keeping that focus when you're playing in such a game?
Yeah, we, first of all, we talked about that in practice this week because, like I said, you know your preparation is going to affect how you actually play. And you know, we brought in guys and used them a little more this week because I felt like that would keep us sharper and you know, especially with a longer week, I felt like it would make us more focused or more likely to be focused and more competitive. You know, I think sometimes you get to this point of the year and, you know, Jade and Marissa guard each other every day, and Bailey and Bree guard each other every day, and you get to the point where you can lose a little bit of competitiveness. And so that was the purpose in bringing in guys this week, probably more than in a lot of weeks where it's maybe more specific to, okay, now we're playing DePaul, we're going to have to work on pressure defense and a team that can spread you out and shoot threes, so we'll be a little more specific, whereas we brought in the guys to kind of just, it was a more generic thing where I wanted it to be competitive, and we worked on some specific, some more general things that you know, aren't opponent specific. And then, you know, I talked to him before today about, you know, hey, we're now in a position where hopefully we're not playing, you know, I said, I think what happened, you know, when we kind of broke the losing streak is you get to that point where you start playing to win,
Right.
instead of playing not to lose. And, you know, even as a coach, I think you can have that mindset, oh, we can't lose this game. You know, maybe we can, you know, whereas, you know, maybe we're, you know, against DePaul, we know we're going to have to go out and win. And so I talked to him today about just, you know, hey, we're not playing not to lose, we're playing to win. And that's what's maybe been a little bit different over the last few weeks is we were so hungry to win after that losing streak that your mindset's just a little bit different. And I felt like we maintained that mindset today, and I know we'll have that for DePaul because I know our players know what the score of the game the last time we played them was. So I think that's important. You know, once you start winning games, is that you get to that point where you're not playing not to lose.
What point did you think you would have, I guess, Lauren today, knowing that she missed some time this week? What did you think you were going to get of her?
This, you know, what Lauren said is pretty accurate. What you like about her is she doesn't overthink things. I mean, and that's not I don't mean that in a negative way, but you want a shooter who doesn't, you know, blink if they miss one or two, and who doesn't catch and they're open and they think about shooting it. She doesn't overthink things, and that's, you know, so I think we like to play her against team, you know, for that reason we like to play her maybe a little bit more against teams that press, because we feel like she is that kid who can kind of, one, she's a little better with the ball as a ball handler through press than you might think, and two, she can knock down shots at the back of the press without hesitating. Okay, can I get a better shot? No, I'm open, I'm shooting this. So I think that's, you know, she sat Tuesday, Wednesday. We took Thursday off, so she practiced the last 2 days and looked okay. I mean, she looked fine. So I you know, you're always going to get really good effort out of her. You're always going to get a kid who fights and claws and gets 2 or 3 loose balls that you know, a lot of kids her size don't get. And then you're going to get somebody who can shoot it and not question whether it's a good shot.
So what you're saying is that Lauren has a lot of the Jim Flannery shooting mentality.
Yes. Exact opposite of me, because hers goes in a lot. I mean, she's a good, you know, she doesn't, mechanically, you know, she's got a simple shot, so there's not a lot that can go wrong with it. I mean, if she gets her feet set, she's going to be a good, you know, I'm not saying she's going to be one of the greatest shooters that we've ever had, but she's going to be a good shooter because her shot's pretty simple and there's not a lot that can go wrong.
What about, I guess, knowing, just kind of realized that you get pressed more than, you know, in this conference than you probably thought you would initially. Today, Jade and Marissa, you know, made some good plays out of it, and Alexis, what did you think?
Yeah.
Once they kind of calmed down after the 3 turnovers early.
Yeah, and that's why, you know, Lauren hitting those threes was big, because it took them out of their press, to be honest. Like, I thought, you know, if you don't get hurt in the press, you're going to stay in it. And they were, you know, they did force some turnovers, and, you know, Marissa threw a one-handed pass, and, you know, we did we did a couple, when we had prepared for it, but we were a little lax, and but I think Lauren hitting those threes kind of caused them to be less committed to pressing, and which was good, I thought, because then because we did struggle with it initially, but Jade continues to get, and she had some turnovers today, but like I'm more comfortable with her daily based on, I'm comfortable with playing her without Marissa on the floor and definitely with Marissa on the floor. And, I think Marissa's, having been back at the point guard spot when Jade isn't on the floor for now 3-4 weeks, she's more comfortable. But I feel like Marissa's playing, significantly better than she did a month ago. And part of that's probably being back at the point guard spot. But, to go back to your question, yeah, I think it's great that we have those two, and we're going to need them on Friday.
Paul's not a team you're going to be able to shoot out over press.
Yeah.
When they make it, they're going to get right in it. I guess how important is this week, preparation-wise, and being able to be ready for that when you see it?
Yeah, it's going to be very important. And the guy, like I said, we'll use guys this week quite a bit because we can't simulate their press with our personnel. I mean, we press some, but we're not anywhere near as committed and as committed to being disruptive as they are. So it'll be our preparation will be important, but it's it's a both ends thing. I mean, we I looked at you just look at the box score. We shot 4 for 19 from the three the last time, and they shot 12 for 28. If you flip those numbers, because we're a good 3-point shooting team, if you flip those, part of it's about making enough shots too. It's not just about taking care of the ball, but we just didn't. We had a lot of open threes, we just didn't make them.
Anything else?
Okay.
Thanks, everybody.
That's it.